second half of year 2023. I think it is worth reminding ourselves that it is not over until it's over. We are beginning the second half. We spent the first 6 months. I am sure you had a plan for year 2023. And I do hope, because it is important, that that plan must be in black and white. If that plan is in your head, I hope it has deliverables, and which means it must be timed. Clearly defined deliverables. These are what I want to do. And this is how I intend, because you can't just want to do something. There must be strategies. And of course, you can always review your strategies. There are goals and there are strategies. And believe you me, it is no plan if it is not timed. Those are merely wants and probably, they're not even desires. If it is not timed, that maybe by the end of the first quarter, I ought to have achieved this. But the second quarter, and by the third, and the end of the year, yes, it must be timed. There are some that will be a monthly thing. Every month I must do this. Every 30 days I must do this. It must be timed. It must be in black and white. It must have deliverables. And those deliverables must be timed. Of course, there must be strategies also. Yes, your deliverables have not been achieved in the first and second quarter or in the first half of the year. They say it is not over until it is over. Just sit down and review that plan of yours or those plans of yours for year 2023. Review them realistically. Realistically, you know what you have to achieve, what you your expectations, to achieve your expectations. So do a review, a critical, honest review of your plans and strategies, and adjust accordingly in order to achieve them. And you will achieve, I pray you will achieve the necessary success. And let me tell you in clear terms, there will be pains before the gates. You will have to make sacrifices. Nothing goes for nothing. That is what they call lesson number 1. They say even in Freetown, there is no free lunch. You have to pay the price. You want to achieve great heights? Those who you see up there, they didn't get there by sudden flight. They didn't get there by chance. Even if they got there by chance, I can assure you that they cannot stay up by chance. They have to work to earn their stay. In the military, you earn your rank. That is why they command respect. You cannot command respect for a location you have not earned. Every rank that they attain, be it lance corporal, be it a captain, be it a lieutenant, they have earned the rank. That is why they command respect. And of course, you can apply that in other fields too. Go to the universities. Of course, there are ranks. Admin officer, assistant registrar, and to the post of deputy registrar. They have earned their ranks. That is why they command respect. Therefore, you're not going to get anywhere by sudden flight or happenstance. And if the one they call luck takes you to the top, luck will not sustain you there. It is not sustainable. You have to work for it. You have to earn it. And it's got to be not by doing what everybody else is doing. You have to go the extra mile. The extra mile. If you do what everybody else is doing, you're going to be where everybody else are. You have to pay the price. There's always a price to pay for it. Mark that. That is what I have to share with you regarding life's experiences. And my name is Ayodeji Ajishokwe presenting. I'm producing. Me is Vic Riches, this sweet gentleman here by my side. Yes, today, as it is branded, political update. Since the new president came into office, a lot of drama in terms of governance we have seen. We are looking forward, the entire country is looking forward, the business community is looking forward, investors, they're looking forward to the kind of cabinet that the president will be putting in place. The few steps the one the president himself called baby steps. And I keep saying it that we don't want baby steps. We need sure-footed steps. But I can understand when the president calls it baby steps, like just like the first few days and weeks they came into office. That's why I tag them baby steps. These steps he has taken, he has shaken the polity. It has changed the dynamics, the economic dynamics. And when we now have the economic policies, what then will be, when we now have the cabinet in place, the cabinet is going to determine a lot of things. And of course, it is expected that the president will send what is now being termed the first batch of ministerial nominees, because there's a constitutional provision, an amendment precisely that the president and even the governors must send their nominees for cabinet positions to the either the State House of Assembly at the state level or the Senate at the national level within a period of 90 days. And of course, this is something that happened on the basis of what happened in 2015. President Buhari did not nominate his cabinet until 6 months after he came into office. And of course, that left the civil servants, the permanent secretaries, and the officers around them virtually running the government for us. And that was not tidy at all. And I even remember the president saying that what does he actually need ministers for? Yes, that was President Buhari for us for 8 whole years. What we're going to be doing this afternoon, we're not going to be talking down from our what they call Olympian heights. We want to engage. There's a need for feedback, not just we talking from this end, talking all the time. Well, there's a need for feedback from the people out there. How has the past 30 days impacted you? We have had federal policies that has impacted everyone. Of course, there will be policies and expectations. What are the expectations of the people? They want to do palliative. I don't even like that word at all, because palliative, that word is for, like care for, last minute, last days cares for the dying. And that word cropped into a political lexicon during the COVID-19. Yes, palliative, everywhere palliative. When you talk about palliative care, it is for those that are about and surely going to die. I don't like that. I know there's another application, but I just don't like the sound of it. When they come up with the palliative, to cushion, we are told that 500 billion is the recovery from application of subsidy for this month of June. You can multiply by that by 12. And of course, that's a lot of money. So what do they intend to do with it? And the important thing is, how will it get to the ordinary man on the street? You want to increase salaries. Of course, they're going to increase salaries of those who are employees of federal and state governments and departments and agencies of government. What about the employer of labor that employs 4, 5, 6, 10, 15, 20, 30 people? Will he give them 100%? I mean, the basic challenge of Nigeria's economy is power. Of course, in this station, only God knows how many millions is deployed every month to power this station. Now take that out of input. You can imagine how much will be saved for that's on monthly basis. Multiply that yearly. So if the issue of power is taken out of at least the input into production, that because we're not going to be paying 300 naira, 500 naira for a kilowatt of power, and of course a liter of PMS goes for 520, 30. AGO, which is diesel, goes for more than that. And these are things that people use to power their businesses. Even industries are using. How are people adjusting How are Nigerians adjusting? They say Nigerians are resilient. They say we are probably the happiest people on earth. I don't understand it, how we can be the happiest people on earth when things are so clearly, seemingly difficult. How are people managing to survive? How are they expanding, their possibilities? I want to call. I'll be reaching out to someone now, and but before, after that, we're not going to be taking calls. I'm going to be putting the number out for our listeners so that they can. We're not going to just be doing a one-way thing. The numbers you can call to speak with us in this studio, the numbers are the following: 0909 888 9939, 0909 888 9939. The second line you can call is 0912 222 2939. I will take that number again: 0912 222 2939. Yes, call in. Yoruba so that we'll know how you are coping. And even some state governments, many of these state governments, they don't even pay. They don't even pay the minimum. They don't even pay the minimum wage. They don't even pay the minimum wage. And but I will go and take some commercials. When I come back, we'll take calls and I'll do a conversation that I need to do with somebody on the line.
Now midnight you dey so you dey receive one important call. Now so you just hear
you have 1 minute remaining.
Sharp, you don't begin check your wallet. But to cash no come deal. How e for be if you go fit recharge without cash and them still sama you bonus on top your recharge anytime? Your credit don nearly finish? No wahala. Just download my MTN NG app to recharge your MTN line. Abi make you dial *904# to buy airtime straight from your bank account to fiam any day, anytime, and enjoy 15% awoof bonus on top any amount wey you recharge. Na so e be o, very easy. MTN, wetin we dey do today?
Whenever I tell people I'm a full-time master's student and a content creator, they go, huh? How are you able to do both all at once? You bewitch? No be juju. Na MTN 5G. Ever since 5G came into my life, I've been on cloud 9. I get to take my classes online in real time and upload my videos before you say Jack Robinson. Even babe isn't left out. Our long distance is waxing strong.
Hello, babe. Can you hear me? Your video is frozen again.
We don't do that here, because life is a breeze.
Experience the wonders of MTN 5G. Hyper-fast internet connection with no buffering, zero lag, and quality data capabilities like never seen before. Available on broadband and mobile. MTN, Nigeria's #1 5G network. What are we doing today?
John!
What's up?
Check your phone. I just send you Momo referral.
My mama don't run that one for me since now. Me say for the find who I go refer, make a quick hammer my million.
Hey! You too fit be one of the 12 millionaires for the Momo Refer and Win promo. To win, dial *671# to sharply open your Momo account and select option 6 to refer family and friends them. After that, make sure say them open Momo account and use them recharge airtime or data at least 100 naira. Chicken, the more people where you refer, the more you go win. If you not see out of 12 million naira every week, you fit chop out of 25 million naira.
Momo Refer and Win promo. The more you refer, the more you win. Promo go run from June 15 till August 9, 2023. Terms and conditions they shall.
Hey, my name is Alex. I've been a content creator for a while now, and I always try to innovate to keep my audience entertained and engaged. When 5G came into Nigeria, I thought it was all noise, like the normal hype, gang, and all that noise. But boy, was I wrong. Because I've hosted virtual concerts, partied with my followers in the metaverse, created skits with creators in other countries without ever having to leave my room. I can shoot a movie without being on set. Hey, now that's a godsend. With all the money I've spent on cabs this year. If there's one thing 5G has done right, I would say it's made it easier for me to do me.
Change the game with MTN 5G. It offers hyper-fast internet speed, seamless buffering, and applications that can only be possible via its quality data capabilities. Available on broadband and mobile. MTN, Nigeria's #1 5G network. What are we doing today?
Headphones on.
Headphones on.
Microphone in position.
Microphone in position. Oh!
Decks on.
What's what you doing with that thing? Decks on.
Tapes on.
Tapes on.
Volume on.
Volume on.
The best music. The best music. The best music.
939
Solutions FM.
Yes, thank you so much for staying with us. Solutions 93.9 FM is the station, and Political Update is the show. This Monday afternoon, the 3rd day of July, year 2023. Yes, we're talking about Nigeria's polity, and we're going to be engaging the other side of the divide. Not just us here talking down on people, but engagement. I have right with me live online Mr. Joko Adesumbo, a public affairs analyst and a political scientist. Mr. Joko Adesumbo, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. It's good to be here again.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. It's been quite a while. The last 32 days since we're talking about the federal level now, but of course everything percolates to the state level. There's so much drama, unified foreign exchange windows, PMS impacting, and the prices moving. Started at 500, moving to 525, 30. Some places are getting in higher than that. And is it threats or indications and possibilities of it moving to 700? And of course, the exchange rate as it were now. But the most important thing that people are looking forward now to is the setting up of the cabinet. Of course, there's a stipulation, constitutional amendment that the president must appoint his cabinet on or before 90 days. And there's expectations that the president will name, at least send some names to the National Assembly this week. What will be your own expectations in the composition of the cabinet? Not in terms of names, but in terms of quality and mix.
Thank you. My expectation is nothing less than having the right pegs in the right hole.
Okay, give us specifics.
We're tired of it. For instance, the already appointed advisors. That's the way to go. We expect something very close to that, or if not better than that, with the ministerial appointment. Each minister that will be appointed, so what we see first is the name. We won't know the portfolio. And that's another area where we need improvement in our governance.
Really? How do you mean?
Once the lists are being sent, the portfolio should be there. It will even help those lawmakers that will screen them to know the area where they would know how to really go about their screening. Not that they will just focus on their personality and achievement and not focus on what they will be doing in government. If they and it's not really their fault, it's because the president usually don't put the portfolio.
It's not a requirement. It's not a requirement.
Yes, it's not a requirement, but somebody can start it. If it is done, it's not going to be against the law. If law is just silence on it. So the idea of not putting the portfolio is not really a welcome development. We should have advanced beyond that now as a nation.
Why is the need for that? What's the need for that?
It will help people in knowing that whether or not the choices are right in the first instance. For instance, when the nomination for INEC commissionership came up the other time, Loretta Enoche was on that list. But people know that, well, based on her antecedents, she couldn't work in that commission. And after all said and done, her name was removed. Likewise, if you have somebody, perhaps a trained lawyer now, being attached to the Ministry of Education, of course, the lecturers and every other stakeholder within the sector would know that this is a misfit. It's not going to work well within that sector. Or you're having an engineer to head an health ministry. You understand what I'm saying? Or a medical doctor to serve in science and technology ministry. All these things are what we've not been really been getting right. And we really need to improve upon in that area.
Mr. Joko, if we have, let me use the Ministry of Education. We have a professor, an academic in the Ministry of Education. And probably not even a professor anyway, anyone who has administered the university system. Abi, something like that, you mean? Not necessarily a lecturer, not necessarily a professor, right? But does it mean...
It might not necessarily be a professor.
Yeah.
But it would have been a stakeholder, someone with past experience
in that area.
Working.
In that area.
Yes, it could be a retired permanent secretary within the Ministry of Education, a former NUC director or executive director or executive secretary, a former university administrator.
The one they call cognate experience anyway.
Exactly. It's going to help on the job, and the person will understand the language that the civil servant will be speaking. But when you bring somebody that is completely strange, it will take time for him to understand. For instance, the last cabinet had Rauf Aregbesola as Minister of Interior. He said it himself that he doesn't know anything about interior. And that's really a shame. And that affected his performance in a way because so many things were foot dragging before it took him time to really get his balance and get his act together.
He was not alone.
That time is not there. You can imagine the Minister of Education, after serving for 8 years, coming to tell us that he doesn't know anything about education. That he was just there to serve. So these are things that we should avoid in the next cabinet. And that's why I am of the opinion that the portfolio should be attached to the list.
But the question that will follow that is that, Mr. Barajoko, how does the president pay his political IOUs?
There are countless of appointments to be made. When we say ministerial appointment, it's not meant for political patronage.
How do you mean? In Nigeria?
That's the way we've been doing it. And what have we gotten from it? What can we really point to say we've really achieved?
It is the one that provides visibility.
It depends on the individual now. You understand? That and the resolve of the personal resolve of that person to really perform in office.
Let me paint the picture what a ministerial appointment represents in Nigeria. Now I'm of APC, and oh yes, let me use Oyo State. I'm from Oyo State. PDP is in government here. I am the former the gubernatorial candidate or a leading member of the party. I am giving ministerial appointment. Of course, that will give me political leverage and muscle to prepare for the next election and bring and attract, federal presence, or at least, a lot of patronage. As a minister, you give this out, you give that out. You are empowering people. That, as maybe chairman of this board or that, you won't have. But of course, as a minister, you will have many departments and agencies under you where you can fix, your political cronies, and you will be paying your political IOUs. That is why the ministerial appointments are more important than any other thing. And so those who help the president, how will he pay them? And how will those who pay the people behind them?
Yes, I'm saying that is because we are used to politics of patronage.
Politics is patronage everywhere.
The president has told us, not in civilized country, professionalism is the first thing when it comes to cabinet appointments. There are other areas where patronage will be done, but when it comes to real cabinet, that's the working committee of the federal government. That's the committee that would see to day-to-day running of the government. Whether the government will fail or achieve anything, it is the executive council that will determine that. And the reason why we need ministers is because the president cannot act alone. He needs people, a working think tank, a team that is formidable, that can move the nation forward. And if he doesn't put the right text in the right place, he will have problems. The albatross of the former president was as a result of the fact that he put people in strategic and sensitive places that have personal interest and not the national interest at heart. And at the end, who takes the blame? Buhari government has failed. Buhari brought entrepreneurship to Nigeria. That is what we will say again.
Nobody remembers the name of those ministers.
Exactly. So he has to just get it right in that area.
When he now does that, anyway, you said they can be compensated in other ways. Some are suggesting that the president might use a double-edged sword. In some states, he will have to play along with the political people there. And then he may likely appoint special advisors in that area too. That those ones will be the ones determining the policy. And I'm just going to use the Ministry of Finance or the central bank as an example. Wale Edun has been appointed special advisor monetary affairs. For me, that is as good as saying he's the governor of the central bank.
The main reason he may eventually end up as the governor. But you know the governor is suspended and investigation is still going on. He has not been completely removed. So there's no need for appointing another CBN governor. So all you need to have is the arrangement that you currently have now. Having someone act as the CBN governor, that's the man acting, and having someone who will be a strategist, someone in the know of monetary policy to now be the advisor and work with the government and who scrutinize whatever is the policy of the CBN. That's what the current arrangement looks like. And until immediately is done with, we cannot have another CBN governor. We'll only have an acting one. So for the idea of maybe appointing a minister and now using an advisor to do the work of the minister, that is not going to work. To create problems within the ministry, because the advisor will be working with the president and the minister will be working with the civil servants. And the civil servants are the main thing here. They are the ones that they won't really deal with the advisors because it's not their
Yeah, they won't deal with the advisors, but the advisor, the minister may be asked, they will just say, this is the policy direction the president wants. And the advisor will be the ones speaking for the president to the minister.
Well,
this is the policy direction of government.
Based on antecedent, I don't think President Bola Tinubu will appoint a minister that he will eventually undermine or make a figurehead. If he's appointing a minister, is a minister that is working with him and to achieve the common goal.
Adisa Bala Usman is special advisor policy coordination. What is that supposed to mean? What role?
Yes. There are insinuations that we may likely have mergers of ministries, departments, and agencies. That is the assignment that Adisa is currently doing now, looking at the Senator Tokunbo Abiru committee report and looking at how they can create a working framework out of
Senator Tokunbo Abiru's report. What was their mandate?
Yeah, it's actually focused on the recommendation of the
Orosanye report.
Yes, that's what and this president seems to be tweeting towards that area. Whether or not it's going to be politically correct as of now is another thing entirely. But everything would be considered before final decisions will be made.
Is it political correctness that we need or what we need to do? Is it likely or possible to result in downsizing? Oh no, not downsizing. Let me be language correct. Right sizing.
When you say right sizing, of course, we are talking about people losing their jobs.
I didn't say that. You said it. I wanted to be language correct.
when you say right sizing, you are still indirectly saying in a subtle manner of reducing the size of the workforce to make it more effective. People will lose jobs. That is just the truth.
Mr. Joko, let me ask you.
At the echelon.
Mr. Joko, let me ask you this. You work in an organization. You know that the possibility, you're already even the director, an assistant director, deputy director. You calculate, you are not likely to be the permanent secretary. You have probably 10 years to go. And they say, okay, what will be your take home if you become director or whatever? They say, okay, we'll give you 1-2 more years and you will be trained and credit will be extended to you. You take your severance pay and yet you will still have access and you will be trained into whatever business you want to go. Will you not seize that opportunity?
Anybody will take such an opportunity, provided the enabling environment is there.
Yeah, enabling, exactly, enabling environment. So
if that is there guaranteed, anybody will take that option. In fact, it will be the way to go to really downsize if you want to do so.
I mean, that's what I've been thinking of. And I mean, when the issues of Orosanye report came up again, that is what I've been thinking of. Look, they should just place this. They do it in private sector anyway. They do it in private sector rather than they just put the options before them. You go, you take this, and you'll be given this leeway in the next 1 year or 2 and be trained, tooled up, and still you get, your entitlement. That's a win-win situation. That's a win-win situation.
It will be a win-win situation.
It will be a win-win
if the government can go ahead with that, it will be a welcome development because we already have an overbloated civil service.
If you go to the bureaucracy,
37% unemployment rate.
Mr. Barajoko,
that is a contradiction.
If you go to any bureaucracy of government in Nigeria today, you say they are overbloated. They will tell you, in the past 2 weeks I've been in and out of bureaucratic systems, and they keep telling me that they are short-staffed. And I keep telling them that they think so because they are still pushing people around.
The thing is, some departments may actually be short-staffed, but we have in a lot of departments overpopulation. People just there in the office, no clear-cut
assignment, schedule of duty.
No clear-cut assignment, no clear-cut schedule of duty.
They call them utility officers.
Are there in the morning, clock in, clock out at the evening when you close, and at the end of the month, you get paid for doing nothing.
Do civil servants clock in?
That is, when I say clock in, I'm actually saying signing into the office. So that resume our resumption.
Yeah, now let's move to the... Okay, go ahead, please.
So the thing is, that should stop. We should be departing from that. We really want to move forward as a nation because the civil service must be effective, must be efficient, must be made with people that are patriotic in nature, people that will share the national interest and not personal interest. Those are the type of people that should occupy the civil service.
You are talking as if you are not a Nigerian.
I'm talking as a Nigerian. I'm talking because I know we've been doing this thing this way and it's not getting any result. And you cannot continue to do something the same way.
If you are going to demand, I know and you know that if you are going to demand, you see, there are some of us that were born and raised as patriots, and there is run in some people's DNA. But you see, on a general note, you cannot demand patriotism from people who are not probably in their thinking getting what they should get. They are not thinking of what they should put in. Don't forget about what they are putting in. You understand? Just forget about what they are putting in. They think that they are not getting what they ought to get. Now, let's move back to the issue of ministerial appointments, because I'm not sure of the numbers of ministries what we have, but what I'm sure of is that we have 30, is it 40 something ministers or 38, and then we have ministers.
Buhari used 38.
Now
I used 44 the last time.
Now we have ministers, we have junior ministers. I remember in the days of Shehu Shagari, we had minister of, we had minister for and minister in. Look, there's a constitutional provision that the minister must come from his state. I don't think that is a particularly is not a particularly tidy one. If those ministries are reduced now, to less than 36, or are we still going to have more ministers than all those ministries, and then we're having junior ministers?
That is what is likely going to happen. And what would happen is that in the case of the junior minister, they will have focus. Some designated MDAs will be directly under their supervision, while the overall ministry will be under the supervision of the minister. That's the situation we had in transport ministry.
Yeah, we had aviation.
Where we had aviation matched together, but later aviation was separated for sensitive reasons. So that's what will happen if we have a situation where we will definitely have more ministers than ministry.
When we have Ministry of Transport, why should we separate land, sea, and air, transport? Seriously.
Yes, when you say land,
let's say minister of transport. Yeah.
Land involves road.
Yeah.
As well as rail.
Yeah.
So those two are big things for a minister to choose. Now you had sea for that, maritime. It's not a bad idea to separate aviation, but it's not even not going to be a terrible idea if you merge aviation, provided you have a minister that have the coordinate experience and have the capacity to coordinate all the three areas.
What is the big deal? Aviation has its own agencies, Federal Civil Aviation Authority, FCAA, and Post Authority. I'm sorry, what they call it, and Nigeria Post Authority, and all of that, and the management to run it. So why does it have to be, Minister of Aviation, a whole minister manning aviation?
Because of those agencies that you talked about, and because of the fact that as a nation we've not really been doing well in aviation. For instance, we do not have a national carrier yet. That's an embarrassment to a country like Nigeria. If Ethiopia, Kenya, Ghana can have, why should Nigeria not have? And all these are part of the reason behind all this is because of the fact that
we have one. Sirica showed us one on May 28th.
Well, they purportedly arranged one because the said aircraft is no longer in the country.
Okay.
And even the branding is a bit faulty. You have the body being that of Nigeria here,
and the registration.
And the tail design is that of Ethiopian Airlines.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the first month of the Bola Tinubu at the federal level. The pains and the gains. What are the pains? What are the gains?
Well, sincerely, we've not really had much gain other than endurance as a people, because he had to take two significant decisions that brought hardship in a way. Though we are told to endure the pain for a better future.
Do you believe it? Do you believe?
I give the benefit of the doubt, owing to the fact that subsidy also have gone since 2016 or thereabouts, but we still have it around. And the more we keep it, the bigger it becomes and the more difficult it will be to remove. So if that has been removed, fine, it's a big relief. But coming up with palliative is becoming too slow. Decisions are not agreed on any. Governors are not really too helping much because they also have important roles to play. So in terms of revenue has since increased since removed, and there is projection that we will be saving over 400 million.
Billion.
We would have saved billion in the last 4 weeks. So that's in the books. But don't forget, NNPC is still claiming that we are owing 2.8 trillion.
Well, the president said he was not owing there.
Well, the federal government is owing, and if he's the president,
and now let us talk about NNPC. People have been clamoring for the removal of the Mele Kyari. And I said, what is the need for removing Mele Kyari? It's a limited liability company, or fully owned by the federal government. We have the National Liquefied Natural Gas there. It is, it is Nigeria owns 49% there. There are other investors, foreign investors. Why don't you just do the same thing to it, or take, and it is run as a business. And of course, those who want to invest will check the books.
It's supposed to be run as a business, but we don't have businessmen in charge yet. We still have former civil servants, or let me say civil servants.
So why don't we do it like the liquefied natural gas?
That is a public-private partnership arrangement.
Well, it is running efficiently.
Because there is involvement of the IOC in the management.
So why don't you just do that?
Energy. That is the way. That's what will happen to NNPC in the nearest future.
Or put it just on the stock market.
That is what would happen. That's how it will get there. They were going to enlist the NNPC. Probably they are yet to do the paperwork, or they wanted to run the full year calendar and get people convinced, or they are yet to determine how much the share value will be offered to the public.
What will then happen to all those subsidiaries? There is one that is called, it used to be called PPMC, Product Management, Product
Petroleum Product Marketing Company.
Yes, they are the ones that own the depot and the pipelines. The depots are not working, the pipelines are not doing anything, and it is a subsidiary. So what kind of business is that?
All those ones would either be concession, sold out to private individuals, or loan managed by the new board that will emerge after the sale of the IPO for the NNPC.
Of course, with mandates that are along strictly business lines.
Definitely, people will not put their money where they will not make it. So, and for them to make it, they'll have to see that the company or the business is properly managed. So those who will come in are those that will have, one, the financial muscle to really invest, and of course, interest in the sector to see that, yes, this thing has been run effectively.
Now, talking about the expected gains of subsidy removal, and yes, the parity now between the two windows, import I and E window and the bureau exchange window of the foreign exchange. What are the expected gains? Let's just take the parity now in the foreign exchange window.
Well,
because we have seen, the bullish performance of the stock market.
Yes, because at least there is a level of confidence that everybody will be on the same page. There will be a level playing ground. Not that some people will have concession, what is it called, a favorable exchange rate, while others will not be allowed to enjoy that same favor, and you expect all of them to compete in the same market. That has been the situation before the merger of the exchange rate. But now it has changed and is a welcome development. But in the long run, we need to really look at the supply side of this forex, in terms of attracting more FDIs, bringing about the level of course, remittance, for diaspora remittances have increased. We need more.
I got to step in, please. We go on a commercial break. I'll be back shortly with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
John!
What's up?
Check your phone. I just send you Momo referral.
My mama don't run that one for me since now. Me say for the find who I go refer, make a quick hammer my million.
Hey! You too fit be one of the 12 millionaires for the Momo Refer and Win promo. To win, dial star 671 # to sharply open your Momo account and select option 6 to refer family and friends them. After that, make sure say them open Momo account and use and recharge airtime or data at least 100 naira. Chicken, the more people where you refer, the more you go win. If you not see out of 12 million naira every week, you fit chop out of 25 million naira.
Momo Refer and Win promo. The more you refer, the more you win. Promo go run from June 15 till August 9, 2023. Terms and conditions they shall.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tunji Bakari. I've been a medical doctor for over 20 years. And sometimes I have to recommend my patients leave the country to get urgent care. But with 5G, I don't need my patients to spend enormous amounts of money to fly out. I can consult real time with experts all over the world without needing to get a visa. Even monitoring patients with heart conditions or patients that are at risk of other ailments alone at home can be done with the wearable technology 5G facilitates. Even though I'm a doctor, I keep having to convince my patients this is real, not magic. Bridge the gap with MTN 5G. It offers hyper-fast internet speeds, seamless buffering, and applications that can only be possible via its quality data capabilities. Available on broadband and mobile. MTN, Nigeria's #1 5G network. What are we doing today?
John!
What's up?
Check your phone. I just send you Momo referral.
My mama don't run that one for me since now. Me say for the find who I go refer, make a quick hammer my million.
Hey! You too fit be one of the 12 millionaires for the Momo Refer and Win promo. To win, dial star 671 hash to sharply open your Momo account and select option 6 to refer family and friends them. After that, make sure say them open Momo account and use and recharge airtime or data at least 100 naira. Chicken, the more people where you refer, the more you go win. If you not see out of 12 million naira every week, you fit to chop out of 25 million naira.
Momo Refer and Win promo. The more you refer, the more you win. Promo go run from June 15 till August 9, 2023. Terms and conditions they shall.
Solutions 93.9 FM. We know they go anywhere. We there for you. Campaign.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Solution 93.9 FM is the station, and of course, political update is the show this Monday afternoon, this 3rd day of July 2023. Yes, we're taking a look at Nigeria's political landscape regarding the actions of government, the one that has impacted most, and of course, the actions taken at the federal level by the President, Commander-in-Chief Bola Tinubu, how it has impacted, and of course, the expectations that a cabinet, at least some names, will be sent to the Senate this week. What kind of what should be the composition? What cabinet do we need? And I've had with me live on air Mr. Joko at Desumbo. Thank you so much for hanging in there to wrap this conversation up. Hello, Mr. Joko.
I'm with you, sir.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yes, we were talking about the pains and gains. So we were talking about specifically you are on the gains of the parity in exchange rate windows now.
Yes, I was saying that for now, the immediate gain is the fact that we have a level playing ground for investors. It's not going to be a situation where some will enjoy favorable forex rates, while others will not be allowed to enjoy that, and you expect all of them to compete at the same market. That has been the situation, and the likes of Dangote have become mega rich as a result of that, while other industrialists are
looking like they are unable, they are incapable.
Exactly, and that is not, and it's not really their fault. So we have a situation now that is a little bit balanced, and of course it will cut down some frivolities. In other words, all the other things that we pursue, that we have local alternative for, like education, like health, we'll have to think twice before sourcing for forex and all of that. Then I said on the supply side is what we should be focusing, how to get this forex, bring in more of the forex, so that the scramble for it will go down. Mm-hmm. Because when there's this scarcity, that is the reason why, even though the rate has been matched, we still have it been fluctuating around 600 plus to $1, because there's still a little bit of scarcity. But when more and more forex comes in, when more and more dollar comes in, of course, people will now have sufficient, and they will want to dispense it. And of course, people that are buying can now begin to say, okay, sorry, your rate is too high, I can't buy from you.
Yeah.
Let me go to someone that can offer cheaper rate. That is the long run.
What about diaspora contribution now? Any confidence building?
it has been coming up because, one, they will get more value for what they are remitting.
Yeah.
And of course, those of them with business ideas are coming in. We are attracting portfolio investment to those who are mega companies that want to really, set up factories and all of that in this place. So these are what will be the long-term gain. But initially, for now, the forex, especially on the petroleum products, we are still importing. And because we are still importing, there's still forex on it, and the cost of freight is still there. And now,
when are we likely to see a stop, a marked decline in the importation
of petroleum products?
Exactly.
When we have functional refineries.
We have a one that is...
That may not be earlier than October.
That may not be earlier than October, yeah. Because they have placed orders for some of these products, and, they are still, they paid, they will still be shipped, and they will come here, and they have to be dispensed with before we start.
Yeah, though in the interim, more licenses have been given to companies to now import. Before now, NNPC was the sole importer. But now that we're going to be having more importers, there will be a kind of competition that may give Nigerians favorable price.
What do you mean favorable price? The independent marketers are already saying, with the exchange rate.
They are saying that independent marketers are marketers. They are not importers. It is the importers that will come. They have options now, unlike when they are all stuck with the NNPC, who does not even have the capacity to serve all of them. So they have to give to private depots to dispense to them, and those ones will exploit them, and that's the reason why we have the price regime that we currently have. But when you have a situation where more importers are coming in, even the private depot owners would select which one is cheaper for them to make more gain and for them to be able to dispense.
Exactly.
Coupled with the fact that the consumption of the products are drastically reduced. People no longer buy at the rate at which they used to buy. And that is, the marketers are cautious of that. So they want a situation that will boost the supply and the sales. And that is a favorable price.
Mr. Joko, this conversation will be scaled up next week, by God's grace, exactly this time. Because we have to go into the short, medium, and long term so that people, must understand what we are dealing with. But as we wrap this up, what are the kind of palliatives? We're talking about salaries. What are the other kind of palliatives that can be applied now that will impact the man on the street? Maybe we can do that in 2 minutes. 3 minutes.
Transit will be a welcome development.
Do we have road infrastructure?
Well, we are better than where we were now. Because when I say mass transit, I mean interstate shuttle. That would, people
interstate
for businesses will be traveling at a cheaper rate, and of course that would, help them tone down the cost of production, and of course bring down the price at that level. Then we need to look at improvement in the price of food. The border has been opened. I wouldn't know whether those products that were tagged contraband hitherto are now being untagged for them to come in to compete with the one that we have locally that are on the high side. So when food items are surplus in the market, of course the sellers would have no other choice than to bring down the price, because most of these prices are actually exaggerated, they are inflated, they are not still
well, I will tell you that when you travel on the Ibadan-Ilorin road on a daily basis, you will see people, minibuses coming from the northern parts, far northern parts of the country on a daily basis, very early in the morning, and they are powered by PMS, not diesel, and that means the cost of transportation will have doubled, and that has affected.
Yes, I was going to say that the government should also look at haulage, subsidize haulage to bring out these goods would also help those who are selling them to be able to make more sales, and of course at a cheaper rate.
Yeah.
So these are things that should be done, and of course the government should look into.
We are going to be next week, because power is key. We are going to be looking at because without power, everything will end up being a joke. because power as a component of production in this country is critical. And when you power an economy with diesel, I don't know how that prices can be competitive, even to imported ones. So we're going to be looking at that and ancillary issues, how that would dovetail, and the progression of things. We're going to be scaling it, we're going to be timing it, and we're going to be looking at the deliverables ahead of time so that people are going to understand what we are dealing with. And of course, the issue of wage increase. Those are the things we're going to be dealing with, and the consequences and all of it. Well. Thank you so much, Mr. Joko Adesumbo. I know you are held up at work where you are, and I thank you for sparing your time with us and our viewers and listeners this afternoon. Thank you so much. By God's grace, Monday next week will be a date again. Thank you. Good afternoon, and bye.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Yes, I'm going to say on Solutions 93.9 FM, it's a wrap on political update this afternoon. Our mandate is to keep you informed so that you will know what we are dealing with, what we have to deal with, and the progression, how things are going to happen. I mean, we have seen the way this government started out, and we can work out, the steps ahead and time it and inform you. And then you can know how you're going to be dealing with that and how you're going to be managing your situations and what your expectations should be. And of course, you will take your decisions from there. Thank you so much. It's been Ayodeji Ajishokwe presenting. We've been unable to take calls, but it's a wrap. Thank you. God bless you. Bye for now.
Solutions 93.9 FM. We know they go anywhere.